Thank you very much. Well, the new normal that we are all experiencing gives room for changing agenda as they happen. So please, you'll bear with us. But all the same, I think Dr. Adeyemi has set the agenda, and she deserves a round of applause for that. I'm particular. I would also, as we scale up technology, I would have wished that we are able to transmit and be seen in every nook and cranny of Nigeria. But that's one thing we need to put into consideration. Beyond that, ensuring that at least the commodities also are available. It's not so much that they can hear; it is that they can access and also make demands for all from all the facilities and be able to get some measure of succor as we go on. She spoke about population increase. They are increasing, and so is our mortality with mothers and children also on the rise. And to cap it all, we are still within the 16 days of activism, to highlight the dangers inherent in gender-based violence. Even this morning, I still got a message as early as 5 a.m. A call just kept coming, and so I had to pick it up. What's happening? It's about the case of another woman who has been so violated, and that we needed, that needed succor, where to go and how to complete. So a lot of these things are all wrapped within what we need to do when we speak to family planning, if you look at it. And I'm sure that within the next 1 week, we will see how related some of these violations and what women go through come through when we don't have a planned family. Now we're moving on, and we're going to have remarks and goodwill messages from partners. Um, I hear that we're going to start from Latvia. Dr. Oji was trying to address the issue that, please, do we have the Fatima Mohammed? Thank you. Fa- okay. She would be the lead. She will be the first person to speak, and I'm excited when a woman speaks first. We had we had that JME because yeah, well, it's okay to be marginalized, and because after all, we are the most vulnerable. But I must say that even men too. So we need the he for she's. But please, may I just call on Fatima Mohammed, who is the lead from SFH, yeah, for the Latvia project. This mask will not allow us to see ourselves, so I apologize.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You have the floor.
Good morning, everyone. And on behalf of management and staff of LAFIA project, LAFIA is a new project supported by FCDO, former DFID, and it works in 5 states in Nigeria, has the headquarters here in Abuja. Worked very closely with the Federal Ministry of Health to improve health system, health system strengthening, and particularly family planning services in these 5 states and the national level. So on the behalf of the board, the management, and staff of Lifeyear Project, we all welcome you here, and to say that we are partners in progress, and that's what we are. And that the federal ministry, we work together. We are not carrying them along like people used to say, but we work together, and we promise, it's a big promise from us, that anything to do with family planning, we are right behind the Ministry of Health and any partner, and to collaborate with all partners so that we achieve that goal. Though 2020 has come, we've not gotten to that level, but at least something has started, and we'll continue to do that. So thank you, everyone, and welcome. Have a successful deliberation as we go on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is very encouraging for a start. Now we are moving next to the next goodwill message, and this is from the Association for Advancement of Family Planning, and we have a vibrant lead for this. He does not need any introduction. I present Ejike.
Good morning, everybody. Uh, may I pay my respects to Nike Adeyemi, a former director at the Family Health Department of Federal Ministry of Health. We call her Mama Arech. I will not cease to say when I came in from Germany to take over the responsibility of heading IPAS, an international organization in women's health and rights in Nigeria, and I wanted to start my work. And I said, my most and effective collaborator is the Ministry of Health. So I decided to go to her and I say, Madam, this is who I am. One thing you know that I can die for women. If you touch a woman, I will die for you with you. Since I'm going to do my work, I want you to give me a strategy. Tell me what the Federal Ministry of Health is actually doing. And then with that, I was able to get a small grant for her to do a proper distance for me, to give me the strategy that I used to work in Nigeria. I remain eternally grateful to her. So that anytime I see her, I always tell her, in fact, you're less than a sweet 16. So please, I think you should welcome her well again. She's just a great lady. And then also being a member of the board of trustees of the association. Is it Moji? Moji is my sparring partner all the time. There's nothing I do not cross-check with her. So also with me when she wants to do anything. But the important thing is that we're all in the same boat, trying to stop needless deaths and reduce morbidity amongst women and create spaces for them because they deserve it. So, and I also want to thank everybody that is here, especially development partners and donors who have made this possible. Without them, we wouldn't be in this fancy hall this morning, beaming to the entire world and in Nigeria. The Association for the Advancement of Family Planning is a conglomeration of about 50 international organizations, CSOs, and NGOs in Nigeria focused on issues of reproductive health, but most importantly, in family planning. About 2011 or 2010, really, we came together as a loose body called Family Planning Action Group. About 5 of us, actually, who felt that we are chief of parties at the time, that we didn't like the indices of Nigeria, and we know that the linchpin in terms of reducing maternal and infant mortality, include neonatal death, is improvement in fertility control, if I will use that word, making sure that women space their children, start when they should start, and end when they want to end, but most importantly, not have too many to die from it. And that's how the association started. And then also, when we scanned the environment, we found out that one, family planning was not free. It wasn't a right of a woman. Not the federal government at the time was not putting a dime on the table. Donors were the ones bringing all the money we're using to purchase commodities. So we went about successfully advocating for, first of all, for family planning to be made free, and then also to make sure that the federal government put money. So we had $3 million put on the table, and in 2018, the federal government added another $1 million, making it $4 million. So I think we should give government a good round of applause for that. So the journey continued. This is the 6th of the series of conferences that we're doing to bring all stakeholders together, both governments, civil societies, donors, and development partners, and women themselves. I'm a little bit worried that I haven't seen my president here, the president of Nigerian Women, NCWD. She was the first person we invited to this meeting because without the women, there won't be any man in the world, correct? In fact, there won't be any human being on earth. So we made sure that they are also a stakeholder. But the most important thing about the meeting is that we bring and we make a conversation and then we find a way of moving forward. So before this meeting planning started, we all sat together and looked at the possibility, and everybody said, look, there's a pandemic. Why don't we put this meeting off till next year? But after some time, it was like people always put the Americans because they have very interesting cliches. The America says when the tough When the going is tough, the tough does what? Gets going. And that's why we decided that this meeting must happen. And we started with a zero budget. And I think this is the time I want to also use the opportunity to thank my young colleagues at their headquarters. For 3 months, they didn't get paid a salary. I just gave them statement for them to be coming to the office. We said, we must have this meeting. And I'm so grateful to God and to everybody that this is happening here today. So as we moved on, it became also necessary that we need to look at the technical way to do it. And that's why we decided to do this um, blended method of meeting, blended strategy, I'll call it. Now there's a physical presence, just a few of us, but the entire world is looking at us through technology. So this is the new normal. So for today, one of the panels is going to do a very wonderful conversation around the new normal. MSI and Lafayette project, they've done so much, and then we're going to learn from them. And I'll be able to also bring my insights, because I chair the pandemic committee here in Abuja, and then also to bring the consciousness of Nigerians that the pandemic is still here. In fact, the director of public health, whose responsibility is to make sure there are services, is in the isolation as we speak. A friend of mine, in fact, one of the interns, a PhD candidate who is doing his internship in AFP office, lost his sister-in-law 4 days ago from pandemic. She was just 40. So you can see that the pandemic is still here. And then part of the reasons why we say we must also have this meeting is a lot of women are not getting services at the service delivery sites. So while we're here, we created a protocol to make sure that women are properly triaged to go to get services. So some of these things that we're going to talk about today. So in order not to take more of your time, I want to thank everybody who has been here. I think this is our first shot. The women are always the guinea pig, isn't it? Because they have the resilience. Women have the knowledge, the skills, the ability to steer the world. And I'm glad that we're starting with women. The 2 first conversations, or 3, in this family planning conference started with 3 women. And now we're starting with the women group. I want to thank you people all for giving opportunity to women. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ejike, and for that insight into the resilience that have been built around this conference. And looking at the faces, even all that are masked up, I can see that the resilience is oozing, which I'm sure that's what we need, for us to continue. Please welcome with me our keynote speaker today. She's here. Please, your seat is very close to your former boss and continued friend. At the appropriate time, we would introduce her fully, but for now, please let her be seated. You're very welcome. We are also going to listen now to a remark and goodwill message from Maristops International. Do we have anyone who is? Thank you. Thank you. Can we get the microphone to him, please? Yes.
Good.
These other speakers can use the podium as well after him.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to stand on existing protocol. My name is Kingsley Odogu. I work with Mary Stopes, and I'm going to be, I'm representing the country director of Mary Stopes Pharmacist, Epion. So I bring you greetings from our country director, who is very passionate about women's health in Nigeria. We are very, very happy to be part of this occasion, the Women's Pre-Conference program of the 6th family planning conference. At Mary Stokes, we are very passionate about women, and that is why we prioritize women um, at the center of all our activities, and we ensure that the reproductive health of women is prioritized in all our endeavor. And we also want to congratulate the organizers of this event. We at Mariscope were very proud because the pandemic came with a lot of strain and negative impact on the reproductive health of women. And through our resilience and innovations, we're able to continually provide services to women who are in their need of our services. So we want to congratulate the organizers once again, and we want to pray that we continue to have a fruitful deliberation as we continue to discuss during this occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'd like to quickly ask that we have remarks from Breakthrough Action. Online. All right. Can you have them on, please?
Good morning, everyone.
Can we see his face?
Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. My name is Dr. Shitu Abdu Aguye. I am Deputy Project Director for Breakthrough Action Nigeria. I oversee family planning and integrated SBC activities on the projects. I'm extremely happy and to be with everyone today. I'm glad to see the audience we have. The masks are not allowing me to see everybody's faces, but I did up till this moment. The USID Breakthrough Action Nigeria project is extremely happy to be able to support and participate in the Women Pre-Conference of the 6th National Conference on Family Planning. It is also apt that the first major activity of the conference is centered around women, as women and children have borne the brunt of the impact of COVID-19 on health. The disruption of family planning services in the past 9 to 10 months has contributed to many unplanned pregnancies. The lockdown period and the loss of livelihoods that accompanied it also affected more women than any other population group. We also saw the rates of gender-based violence increase significantly during the heights of the COVID-19 outbreak. I want to, at this juncture, congratulate the organizers of the 6th National Conference on Family Planning and all those who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to plan the conference that has kicked off today. The USID Breakthrough Action Nigeria project continues to work assiduously towards improving the lives and livelihoods of women and children. Through the project's social behavior change advocacy activities, Breakthrough Action is working with influential religious and traditional leaders to address social and gender normative barriers to the practice of family planning, MNCH, and nutrition-related behaviors, improve women's agency in household decision-making, and decrease tolerance for gender-based violence. In Breakthrough Action's integrated social behavior change intervention states, the project is working with states and national governments and other IPs to support community social behavior change activities carried out by community volunteers in 292 wards. The household visits and compound meetings carried out by the community volunteers are designed to reach women at household and community level with messages on family planning, MNCH, and nutrition behaviors, which when practiced would reduce the burden of illness and attendant costs of seeking healthcare. There's also the Women Empowerment Group intervention, which we also call the Haskin Matter intervention. through which Breakthrough Action facilitates the participation of women in community groups where they're able to learn and share experiences with their peers on family planning, MNCH, and nutrition behaviors, and in a safe space. Participation in the Haskin Matter groups also provides opportunities for the women to engage in microcredit savings and loans activities through which they can access funds for health emergencies, learn skills for small business, and access micro capital to start income generating activities. God willing, the year 2021 will be the year when women in Nigeria and the rest of the world will regain the ground lost in 2020 due to COVID-19. It is pleasing to note that the keynote address for the Women Pre-Conference is on meeting family planning needs amid the upsurge in sexual violence during the COVID-19 pandemic. This is the challenge all partners working in the family planning space will need to rise up to in the coming years. I'm using this opportunity to reaffirm USAID Breakthrough Action Nigeria's commitment to working with all partners to implement state-of-the-art social behavior change and demand creation interventions that will accelerate progress on Nigeria's indices on family planning and the well-being of women generally. Once again, on behalf of the entire USAID Breakthrough Action Nigeria team, we're happy and proud to be participating in the Women Pre-Conference and look forward to the interesting presentations and deliberations ahead of us today. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much. And thank you for showing your face.
My pleasure.
Thank you. All right, we're moving on quickly, and we have mid-space. Mid-space. Do we have representatives from TSU, mid-space? All right. I would confer with Educate to find out that do we have anyone here from National Council of Women Societies? Well, I think we'll take them on when they do arrive, or if they're going to come on virtually, because we wouldn't want to waste any time. Would like to just continue with the conference. Every second matters. And at this point, I'd just like us to move straight to the keynote address. I did say before Dr. Shitu came on that we have a keynote speaker here with us. Outside the fact that at some point she has also been the team leader for IPAS, she has shown personal commitment to the issues of women and gender-based violence. And in the last about how many days now? About 11 days. We have all been very active with the 16-day activism to give more visibility to the dangers inherent in gender-based violence. Please welcome me today to a woman who broke the ceiling of chairmanship of the NBA in the Federal Capital Territory. At some point, it was a preserve for men only. But we are not just seeing only Kamala Harris, but we have loads of Kamala Harris in the making. Please welcome with me, Barista Hawa Shekara. You're welcome. Chairperson, NBA.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Distinguished members of the high table, my number one boss, we call him Ofo when we were in IPAS, Dr. Ejike Oji, my big sister, Atimoji Makonjola, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great pleasure to be called upon to present the keynote address for this Women's Pre-Conference. I'm so excited that the the Family Planning Coalition, Association for the Advancement of Family Planning in Nigeria, is making giant strides in making sure that the issue of family planning is put in the front burner under the leadership of Dr. Ejike Oji. We've done quite a lot. And I believe that there is a lot more to be done. And we do not want to leave anyone behind, particularly in this day and age, where the mantra or the slogan is, leave no one behind. I won't waste much time. The topic, like we all heard, is meeting FP needs amidst upsurge in sexual violence during COVID-19 pandemic. COVID-19 is an unprecedented global pandemic in recent times that took everyone unawares and completely stretched the resilience of global health systems, including those of developed countries. It started in Wuhan, China, at the end of 2019, and in less than 4 months, the virus had spread to different parts of the world, necessitating drastic actions to stem its spread. Amongst the drastic actions taken were complete shutdown across countries in an unprecedented manner. Nigeria recorded its first COVID-19 case through an Italian national on February 27, 2020. The virus, which originated from Wuhan in China sorry, I think there was a repetition there. Now, the virus which originated from Wuhan in China at the end of 2019 has affected over 6 million people and led to the death of over 300,000 people worldwide. The statistics as released by NCDC shows that the 3rd of December, as at the 3rd of December 2020, there are 67,960 confirmed cases, 2,944 active cases, 63,839 discharged cases. As you can see, it is indeed a huge pandemic. It is important to note that these statistics are based on reported cases, and therefore they are just a tip of the iceberg in terms of the reality on ground. The Nigerian health system has therefore been extremely stretched dealing with COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic came with its attendant consequences, one of which is the disruption of access to family planning information and services, as well as sexual and reproductive health more broadly. There is also increased incidences of sexual and gender-based violence. As documented by Chitra Nagaranjan in 2020, violence against women and girls was widespread in Nigeria before COVID-19, and there has been a significant increase during the pandemic. Before COVID-19, LGBV was generally widespread in Nigeria. The National Population Commission reported that at least 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 10 boys experienced sexual violence before the age of 18. Early and forced marriage is common in some regions. 67.6% of girls in the Northwest and 56.6% of girls in the Northeast are married before their 18th birthday. Meanwhile, 49% in the Southeast and 47.5% in the Southwest of girls and women aged between 15 to 49 have experienced female genital mutilation through cutting. Violence continues in adulthood. 17% 60.4% of girls and women aged 15 to 49 have experienced physical and or sexual violence from their intimate partners at least once in their lifetime. This is based on the NDHS. There have been high levels of abduction, attacks against sex workers, denial of resources, domestic violence, early and forced marriage, intimate partner violence, sexual violence in Northeast Nigeria, and conflict-related sexual violence in Zamfara State and other parts of the North Central states. So there is no doubt that the advent of COVID-19 pandemic has led to an increase in reports of GBV in all 6 geopolitical zones. There was a 56% increase in reports between March and early April in the first 2 weeks of the lockdown. According to the Office of the Vice President, the Federal Capital Territory Sexual Violence Response Team received 107 cases between 23rd of March and 30th of May, an average of 13 cases a week, double the 5 to 6 weekly cases received prior to the pandemic. So there's no doubt that the COVID-19 pandemic has witnessed an increased or upsurge of sexual violence. Some of the different patterns of reported SGBV cases include intimate partner violence, non-intimate partner violence, which consists of physical and emotional domestic violence, such as violence on children by parents, sexual violence. Violence against women and girls services have observed increased levels of sexual violence against children perpetrated by men of all ages, including father raping daughters, decreased safety of public spaces. There has been an increase in theft, robbery, and other criminality, which has gendered impact with women and girls experiencing violence and feeling less safe. Lastly, police extortion and violence. Women's rights activists noted a number of cases where police officers, in collusion with perpetrators, have arrested survivors and extorted money from them, as well as meted out sexual violence on them. As seen from the foregoing, the upsurge of sexual violence against women during the COVID-19 pandemic calls for great concern around ensuring the FP needs of women are met. For women, family planning is a critical basic healthcare. As health systems shift to prevent and treat people with COVID-19, it is essential that they also protect and ensure women have access to family planning services. As experienced so far, the focus of many health systems on the response to the COVID-19 pandemic, the provision of basic contraception counseling, the delivery of contraceptive products and services, and the functioning of supply chains have been disrupted, and women and men are at a disadvantage in seeking care from their regular providers. I'm sure many of you here will recall during the lockdown period, unless the ill health that is bothering you is COVID-19, relevant, you were sure of being turned back from the health care facilities. It was that bad. And I recall some healthcare workers also testifying that they were made to forget about other ailments and focus more on, COVID-19 pandemic. Now, the UN Secretary General had issued a call for continued delivery of sexual and reproductive health services, such as access to contraceptives, without prescription during the COVID-19 crisis. And key global partners such as WHO and UNFPA and other governance bodies have strongly voiced this. Now, COVID-19 is impacting women's ability to use contraception in a number of ways. One, disruption to the supply chain are limiting the production. When most of the countries, were experiencing lockdown, it is so obvious that the supply chain would be disrupted. And that, automatically affects the women who are at the receiving end. Another, way that COVID-19 impacts women's ability to use contraception is healthcare providers are redirected from providing family planning services towards responding to COVID-19. So COVID-19 took the priority of most healthcare providers. Thirdly, many women are unable to visit healthcare facilities due to lockdowns or fear of exposure to COVID-19. So there is no doubt that when women's and couples' needs for family planning are not met, the number of unintended pregnancies is certain to rise, with lifelong impacts on women and their families. Reminds me of one of our WhatsApp group, the lawyers' WhatsApp groups. And some of our members were just making fun, saying that, this lockdown, at the end of this lockdown, we should calculate the next 9 months. There will be an explosion of, deliveries because of, the activities that would have taken place during the lockdown. Now, the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on meeting the demand for family planning will be influenced by many factors. One of them being the types of contraceptive methods used by women in each country. Individual contraceptive methods differ in terms of the need for contact with healthcare providers, the period of renewal, the susceptibility to stock out, and global supply chain disruptions, and their effectiveness in preventing unintended pregnancies. I'm sure we all know here that different women have different methods of family planning, depending on your physiology and depending on what your needs are. For some, it is implants. For some, it is pills. For some, different, methods. Now, these issues therefore make it all the more important to prioritize the provision of contraception, not only in the midst of COVID-19, but at all times. Starting from this uncompromising position, FIGO, that is the body of the world body of obstetricians and gynecologists, had presented 6 key action points for policymakers, political leaders, and health system providers, which could help ensure that FP needs of women are met during the COVID-19 pandemic. The first is social distancing and limitations on mobility, which speaks to an urgent need to expand postpartum family planning services, particularly long-acting reversible contraceptives, such as contraceptive implants, postpartum IUDs, or injectables. Now, access to healthcare has been an issue across many parts of the globe from time immemorial. The increase in prenatal care and institutional births seen over the last 20 years have become incredibly valuable and precious as a one-off opportunity to provide women with counseling about contraceptive options and comprehensive and integrated healthcare. The COVID-19 pandemic has led to the partial and sometimes complete close down of sexual and reproductive health services in many parts of the world, and Nigeria is not an option. Antenatal, delivery, and postnatal care may be the only opportunities women have to access contraceptives. because no matter what, a woman that is pregnant will go for antenatal care, and or if she's about delivering, she will go to the hospital. And then after delivering, there are those postnatal visits, So come rain, come shine, if that happens to a woman, she will go to the hospital. So this opportunity can be seized on in order to provide her with family planning um, options. To make optimum use of these points of care, that's prenatal care and postnatal, messages must include counseling on birth spacing. Maternity units across the globe must urgently develop postpartum family planning services, concentrating particularly on long-acting reversible contraceptives, which are more effective and reduce the need for return trips for supplies. Midwives who serve women who may not be able to reach facilities for delivery should work with local health service systems to deliver contraceptive messages and products to facilitate birth spacing, including exclusive breastfeeding and contraceptive methods for women and or their partners. The second action point is self-care family planning methods, which should be promoted and supplied to women and men proactively. Self-care family methods include emergency contraceptives, pills, injectables, condoms, vaginal rings, and fertility awareness methods, and can be used or resupplied safely to users. WHO provides extensive guidance on their correct use. However, given the major role of users themselves and the private sector in their delivery, they are often underutilized within health systems. For example, self-injectable contraceptive methods should be made widely available, as well as 1 year stocks of the oral contraceptive pill. Given the lockdown experience in many communities and the increased risks of gender-based violence for women accessing services, having these supplies on hand can help women exercise control over their lives. They're able to, self-inject themselves in order to, get this service. And it will therefore reduce the need to go to the hospital at all times. Thirdly, barriers to accessing contraception need to be lifted. Some of the problems caused by the barriers to contraception can be mitigated with effective tax shifting, stroke sharing between healthcare providers in many countries. Nursing and midwifery education includes contraception advice and provision. Other suggestions for increasing access and meeting FP needs during COVID-19 are: one, making processes simpler so that women can access methods as easily as possible without compromising safety. The devolution of processes from large unified systems will help provide rapid and necessary context-specific changes to protocols, easing access to those most in need. And then tax shifting, stroke sharing with nurses and midwives providing counseling and contraceptive methods such as IUDs, implants, and injectables, in addition to prescribing contraception. Now, the fourth action point is the need to implement telemedicine using mobile phones and social media as an adjunct to improving information and access to contraception. Today in Nigeria, I think the statistics shows that there are over 100 million people using phones. That's a huge number, including those in the village. And the phones are made in such a way that they are, you can communicate with people either in Hausa or in Yoruba or Pidgin English. So I think for me, this is a very, very important area that is not explored. The provision of health services by professionals utilizing technology to exchange information with women should be maximized, and expanded rapidly in all areas of health. The use of digital health tools has been explored before, but now is the time to capitalize on pilot interventions such as using mobile phones, websites, and call centers, which have been shown to work in a range of development contexts. Novel ways of sharing information, such as social media, could be used to the benefit of women and healthcare providers should engage with these tools. The delivery of contraceptive products to women's doorsteps would be a major improvement in access and also free women's time waiting in crowded health services dealing with ill patients. And the number fifth action point is the need to anticipate and address likely supply chain needs and challenges. In other words, those who are responsible for coordinating supply chain needs should be able to anticipate ahead of time. Like 6 months ahead, 1 year ahead, they should be able to know that there would be a stock out and then begin to make provision to ensure that the supply is made available even before that date. The sudden reduction in cross-border commerce of materials used in the manufacturing of key contraceptive methods, e.g., active pharmaceutical ingredients, polymers, and packaging materials, the limits on transportation within countries, as well as the increased bureaucracy with importation of goods across the globe, is likely to result in shortages of key contraceptive methods. Governments need to plan ahead for specific supplies and commodities in their supply chains, as well as ensure oversight and logistic requirements to ensure that supplies reach clients and facilities in the last mile. Mitigation strategies addressing the tracking, security, storage, and resupply of products must be developed ahead of time and tested on how their resilience may be affected in conditions associated with the pandemic. Lastly, a very important key action point is healthcare workers must be provided adequate personal protection equipment. Transparent information and education to all healthcare workers about coronavirus, its roots and mode of transmission, as well as the national and local epidemiology of its spread, will allow them to understand how best to safely continue to provide essential healthcare services in their settings. They have to, first of all, be protected before they can be able to meet the needs of others. It is likely that many health workers will be asked to help with the COVID-19 pandemic. In any case, guidance on and provision of personal protection equipment is an absolute priority. If equipment is in short supply, then solutions must be sought locally through public-private partnerships, community engagement, and innovative technologies. At the same time, staff at all levels of the health system must be reminded that all women and men need access to reliable contraceptive and family planning services, and efforts at integration where feasible should be pursued. Pharmacies are also a key ally. I personally align myself with the above recommendations of FIGO, and I believe that if Nigeria pays attention to these steps, we would be in a position to ensure that the FP needs of women and men are met during this COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very, very much. And thank you also for that very insightful presentation that gives hope that we can manage family planning needs even in the face of the pandemic. I particularly like the assertions that were made about reducing barriers within the context of task shifting or task sharing, as we talk about it now. Telemedicine, it is doable. These are things that are doable. And of course, the social media, thank God we have a positive thing that the social media can do. It works in other parts of the world. Why shouldn't it work in Nigeria? We also have the issue of addressing stock out, particularly during emergencies. I think as a people and as a country, this is something that we need to accentuate and make lots of noise about. That if we plan ahead, obviously there's no year that doesn't come with its own emergency. But we know that the emergency of the COVID-19 is different from what we have today. But these are issues that we must address going forward. Now, storage, security, logistics has become an imperative for development. If you don't have all this in place, then we cannot move on in making sure that women can access family planning commodities. Now, she spoke to a very serious one: personal, um, personal protection of the health workers themselves. At a point during the lockdown, um, people, even the medical experts themselves, were afraid to go to facilities because they didn't have what you call now the PPE. And so we need to emphasize going forward, and I'm sure that is going to be part of the things that will be would be our take home at the end of the 6 days of conversation around family planning in Nigeria. We need, as a people, to plan. When you plan, you will be able to deliver successfully. So once again, Barrister Shekaro Hawa, thank you so very much for all the recommendations made. And I hope that our rapporteurs are putting them on paper. This is what the women want. And most importantly, is engaging the women themselves for themselves. That way we can move faster and move together. Thank you. During the keynote address, we had um, okay, we'll get to that. Thank you. Apparently, we don't know ourselves. So, and yes, especially with the math. So after the next address, the microphone will come. Should we start from here? Because more people have joined. Yes, more women in fact have joined, and that makes it very exciting. And of course, the he for she's that yeah. So we thank you. Just when we were you notice that I walked out because the representative of the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs was with us, but she was being taken to every floor of the hotel because she found her way here. We do apologize for that. So it's a tour of the hotel. But what is important here is that I spoke myself and Dr. Ejike spoke with the minister herself yesterday. If you are trending and you're following things in this country, you'll know that for the first time we are having a senator from Plateau State. She had to be at the election. And I think for all women here, yes, we have a female senator. That's a plus, plus, plus. And she had to be there on behalf of all of us. Because what we are saying at the end of the day is that if we have more women in governance, then they'll be able to match words with action. Not when they say such amount has been allocated budget for family planning commodities and it is not matched with capital. But when we have our women there, they'll be able to speak up for us. So it's important that we have more and more of our women in governance, particularly at the legislative arm where all the laws and the corrections and the budgets are made. So she's not here with us today, but she has sent in her vibrant SSA technical, Jumai, who is here with us, and she's in the spirit. Apparently, she had joined online, hoping that maybe the minister, when she comes in, as we speak, I think she's still in the air. We pray that she would land successfully, but she has sent Jumai here to say that she's with us, and she's going to be with us, God willing, on Thursday when this when the conference itself is formally declared open. So for now, I just give the microphone to her representative. She has a few words for us. Off for a while. Good morning, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. And for those who are joining virtually, I bring you warm greetings from the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, Dame Pauline Tallen, OFRKSJ, who would have loved to be with us at this all-important meeting. But just like Auntie Moji has said, women's issues are cross-cutting issues, and we need to have more women in leadership position to make people understand that women's issues need to go from where they were to where we are and where we want them to be. So on this note, I want to re-emphasize the fact that we now have a female senator in Plateau State. It is history for us as women, and we must celebrate it. If you don't understand what we're talking about, it is a dream come true for all of us. So it is very heartwarming to know that a women's pre-conference is holding on the wings of the all-important conference. It could just have been a small part of the conference, as we have witnessed, but that the organizers took it upon themselves to ensure that there is a pre-women's conference. I think that deserve a round of applause. It shows that our advocacy, that any meaningful intervention must take into cognizance a gender perspective. And so, Dr. Ejike and your group, we want to thank you for ensuring that the women's issues are mainstream at this time. Women represent continuity, and without them, there is no society. The year 2020 had promised to be a great year for Nigerian women and children due to the milestone it heralded for them. It was the 25th year anniversary of the Beijing Platform for Action. It was also the 20th anniversary of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325. There was also the issue of the ICPD and so many more. But alas, COVID-19 came and reared its head, and we are back to where we were before. But we thank God that it could have been worse. It took away livelihoods from our women due to the lockdown measures put in place by government to flatten the curve. Schools were closed, businesses were closed, the informal sector was closed, reproductive services were at a lockdown, gender-based violence reared its head. It was alarming because the issues of gender-based violence and other health-related matters that affect women were not classified as essential services in the wake of the lockdown. And so we had a hike in this issues of gender-based violence around the country. It took the intervention of many civil society organizations in the country and also the goodwill of some development partners to ensure that we continuously bring to bear the issue of women as very key in COVID-19. As a national gender machinery for the advancement of women and children, the ministry rose up to the clarion call to address the spike in gender-based violence, which led to the declaration of the state of emergency by state governments in the country through interactions with them. You will recall that at that time there were no physical meetings, so most of the things that were done online. It also brought about a declaration by the president himself on the need for the country to recognize gender-based violence as an emergency situation in the country and directed the Inspector General of Police to ensure that they deal with the perpetrators of this heinous crime. At this time, we described it as a pandemic within a pandemic because it, it was something that was life-threatening. But we are happy today that there's been a response, a national response that has also brought in people at the state level, including wives of governors, who have come together to form a coalition against gender-based violence in the country. You'll all agree with me that the issues we're addressing here today are most predominant in the rural communities. And if we sit here to continuously talk about them without reaching the rural communities, we'll just be speaking to the converted. Therefore, at the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, we're working with the Federal Ministry of Health to ensure that our engagements are properly targeted. We're also working with the Federal Ministry of Education to promote girl-child education, to improve enrollment, retention, and completion rate of the girl child, as well as the second child education as a strategy to reduce the risk factors associated with early marriages. I was in Ebonyi and Kebbi states a few days back, and what I saw when I visited the VVF centers were heartbreaking. 10 years old, suffering from VVF, they've gone through a lot of repairs with no hope in sight. And so we must continuously engage with the broader society. In doing this, we must not forget our traditional leaders, our community gatekeepers, our religious leaders, and the women themselves on the advantages of family planning. And in doing this, we must take to them the right messages because they control the mindset of the women at the rural areas who actually need these services. In situations where cultures promote 10 children and there are ceremonies to celebrate such births, we need to begin to take the right messages to tell them that we need to change our attitude if we must keep our women safe and healthy. If we get our messages right, our work will be made easier. And therefore, at the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, we'll continue to provide the enabling environment to ensure that our women stay safe and are healthy. Coming on the heels of the 16 days of activism with the team, fund, respond, prevent, collect. Let me ask all of us who are in this hall today, how are we in our respective spaces addressing family planning? Are we funding? Are we responding? Are we preventing? Are we collecting the right information to ensure that we address the issues? Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Princess Jumai. That was the address and the commitment of the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, eloquently delivered by you. Thank you. Well, I think one thing we should is the fact that family planning becomes an essential in the lives of our young women. Because if you go, I just want to ask, how many of you have ever been in a VVF ward? How many of you have ever seen a woman suffering from uncontrolled feces and urine? Yes, it is a sight that is heart-wrenching. It is a sight that will break your heart. And a lot of these young girls, some of them can't be repaired. Some of them are fortunate, can also be repaired. But even in repairing them, what does tomorrow hold for them? And I think that if we can make a lot of noise about family planning, even if we cannot win the war of girl-child marriage, we can at least ensure that they have the right tools to be able, to develop and be matured before they become mothers. And the unfortunate ones, which we need to repair, all of us have a responsibility. So in the spirit of the 16 days activism of funding, of responding, of being collective, it means that we have a collaboration that all of us must make. And part of this will be family planning, because a girl child that at least is allowed to go to primary, finish primary and secondary school will be matured enough, like the experts would say, to be mothers. So let's stop young girls going through the path of hopelessness when indeed they should be part of the builders for a better Nigeria. So we're continuing here at this moment. We'll break and ask that we all introduce ourselves all over again, because the hall is getting more and more people are coming in and it's getting excited. So let me introduce myself. I'm Mujima Kojola, and I'm a mother and a grandmother, and a very proud one.
My name is Princess Juma Idonije, Senior Special Assistant Technical to the Honorable Minister. I am also a mother and a grandmother. I'm proud of that too.
My name is Dr. Adenike Adeyemi. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees of the Association for the Advancement of Family Planning, Nigeria. I'm representing the board at this present meeting. Thank you.
AGK, Dr. AGK Oji, Chair Technical Management Committee, Association for the Advancement of Family Planning. I'm also the Civil Society for FP2020, and I chair the LOC for this conference. Thank you very much.
My name is Hawa Shekarau. Like I was introduced before, I am the chairman or chair lady or chairperson, whatever you call it, of the Nigerian Bar Association Abuja branch. Additionally, I run and I am the president and founder of Women Law and Development Initiative Africa, Worldly Africa.
Thank you very much. Before we move on to every distinguished participant here, and of course, those of you watching us virtually, you're also part of the team. Let me just say that the media is an integral part of what we are doing today. I represent the International Society of Media and Public Health, and I'm sure that I have other colleagues here. So media will give adequate visibility to this all-important meeting today. And let's start from you. We are not going to. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Dr. Charles Ume. I am Intel AAFP.
Hello, my name is Rose Nwakoba. I'm from AGN, that is Ato Gig of Nigeria.
I'm Agnes Joseph Sheko. I work with Breakthrough Action Nigeria.
Well, my name is Hadiza Mohammed Aliyu. I'm the head of Health and Gender Desk of the News Agency of Nigeria.
My name is Eme Mantoni Ekpe. I'm a young lady interested in family planning.
My name is Esther Egabo. I'm the founder and the chairperson of Prestigious Ladies Club, a charity organization for women and children. And we're here representing our club. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mariam Allen Gali. I'm a nuclear communicator with the Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority, and I'm also a member of Prestigious Ladies Club. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me say good afternoon in addition. My name is Fred Indumaro. Now, for years, but I'm now retired. I have a publicity outfit that is I'm trying to nurture, and I am interested in women affairs because I believe strongly that without women I wouldn't have existed. Thank you very much.
My name is Esther Uyowere. I'm a member of prestigious club, ladies club. I'm the team head of beauty and fitness.
My name is Mrs. Chineze Eze. I'm the vice president of prestigious ladies club. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Kingsley Odogu. I work with Mary Stoops, Nigeria.
Good morning. My name is Ibidun Adeni. I'm a consultant and also a therapist.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kizi Ufume Omo. I work with Breakthrough Action Nigeria.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Benson Ohemu. I work with the Lafia program. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Barrister Chinyere Ufere, a lawyer by profession. That's my chairperson there. Oh, wow. So private practice. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Lady Vicky Okoranyao, retired DFA, National Human Rights Commission. Thank you.
My name is Fatima Muhammad. I work with the Lafia Project, one of the sponsors of this day. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ramat Ibrahim. I am a participant in this program, and I am passionate about anything that has to do with women and gender-based violence. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Lady Katie Bokwe from Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation in Liberia.
Good morning, all. My name is Iken Nauso. I write for News Agency of Nigeria.
Good morning. My name is Ngozi Ofo. I'm representing KSGI, Maitama Commandery Locks.
Good morning, all. My name is Joy Isaac from Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Good morning, all. My name is Faturu Sibusola. I'm from Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Chinyeru Gochunwuba, Armed Forces Read.
Good morning, all. I'm first of all a journalist, and then I head the Press and Public Relations Unit of National Center for Women Development. Thank you.
Good morning, all. I'm Agnes Cheba from NCWD. Dr. Abazu is my boss.
Good morning, all. My name is Tony Adebayo. I write for Daily Independent newspaper. I also have an online news media.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Wonsu Ahuna Christabel. I work with the Nigerian Institute of Advanced Legal Studies. I'm also a member of prestigious Ladies Club, their vice president too on project matters.
Good morning. Salu, a reporter from FRC.
Morning, ho. My name is Deborah Bada from News Agency of Nigeria.
My name is Chizoba Onyechi, and I work with Breakthrough Action Nigeria, supporting the Women Conference.
Thank you very much. Until we start holding each other's hands, we probably will not go that fast. So I think the prestigious Women's Club, is that the name? I think they deserve a very loud round of applause. I also like to give special recognition to all my colleagues here. We have the head of the help desk from News Agency of Nigeria. So We'll break now for tea, and maybe about 20 minutes. We'll have about 20 minutes for tea, and thereafter we'll come back. For those of you watching us or joining us virtually, you can have your tea wherever you are, but please, you can send the virtual tea if you have any. Enjoy